The Aid Bank is the executing agency for a new line of credit obtained from the CARICOM Development Fund. Plans have intensified for the staging of this year's World Creole Music Festival, and the GIS's Jana Hector attends journalism program at the United Nations. Hello and welcome to another edition of National Focus. I'm Mervin.
And I'm Fontaine. Stay with us for details of the headline stories and others right after this.
Hey, I had a good time in town last week with a pretty girl, boy.
Hey, carry me next time when you're going now.
When we get paid Friday, we gonna go.
Careful, they might catch AIDS.
AIDS? Them girl pretty. Them girl can't get AIDS, boy.
I think it's only ugly women have AIDS. Anybody could get it. If you get sick, what you can tell your wife?
Hey, your wife, come in.
Hey, change the topic. Change the topic.
Your family depends on you. Don't take home AIDS.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
The facts as they are, brought to you every day. Only on GIS Channel 7.
Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. 11 journalists from developing countries and countries with economies in transmission, including Dominica, are currently in New York, where a 5-week United Nations-sponsored fellowship program has commenced. The 33rd annual Reham Al-Farah Memorial Journalist Fellowship Program, which serves to acquaint journalists with the work of the United Nations, began at the United Nations headquarters in New York on Tuesday. The agenda features briefings by United Nations officials, a 2-day academic workshop at the Fordham University, and visits to major media organizations in New York, including the New York Times and Reuters. The 11 journalists will, during this time, undertake professional work assignments which will be presented to top-level UN officials. The highlights of the program include a meeting with the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, and the observation of meetings of the 60th session of the United Nations General Assembly. The group will also spend 1 week in Geneva, Switzerland, where special emphasis will be placed on topics such as human rights and humanitarian affairs. The Memorial Journalist Fellowship was renamed in 2003 in honor of Reham Al-Farah, a 29-year-old journalist who was one of several United Nations staff members killed in an attack on the United Nations headquarters in Baghdad in 2003. Since the program's inception, about 500 journalists have participated. The method of selection for participating journalists means that each UN developing country will be allowed to participate once every 8 to 10 years. The countries represented this year are Djibouti, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, Poland, Nicaragua, Paraguay, Afghanistan, Azerbaijan, Iraq, and Grenada. Dominica is represented by GIS's Jana Hector.
The Agricultural, Industrial and Development Bank continues to partner with several agencies to access lines of credit on special terms and conditions which it can make available to specific groups. On July 23, 2013, officials of the Aid Bank signed a new loan agreement as the executing agency for a line of credit of over $10 million obtained by the government of Dominica from the CARICOM Development Fund. The CARICOM Development Fund focuses primarily on the advancement of private sector development in the Caribbean region.
The loans which receive funding from this line of credit will be on lend for private sector enterprises in specific areas which have been identified as critical for development of the region at this time. These include environmental conservation, organic farming and green projects, renewable energy or energy efficiency projects, ecotourism, projects with potential for foreign exchange savings or generation, agro-processing, manufacturing, and the creative arts. And that is broadcast media, film, publishing, recorded music, design, architecture, new media, as well as the traditional arts. The maximum loan size to be financed from these resources is $405,000. To be eligible for these funds, private sector enterprises must use the funds for the following purposes: to improve the firm's competitiveness, to upgrade and replace plant and equipment, to retool or retrain the workforce, to enable project development or innovation, to achieve ISO or HACCP standards or certification, to improve marketing or carry out market assessments in CARICOM markets with a view to introducing or increasing the trade in goods or services to those markets, and to establish or expand projects in the service sector, including the cultural or creative industries.
Collymore also announced that there are technical assistance facilities available at the regional level which can be accessed through the Aid Bank.
And these include the Caribbean Technological Consultancy Services of the Caribbean Development Bank, as well as the Center for Development of Enterprise of the European Union. These facilities can provide consultancy services to assist businesses in the development of their project ideas into bankable projects for funding by local banks. The Aid Bank's proven track record of promoting and influencing the economic development of Dominica and mobilizing funds for the purpose of such development is not only manifested in the receipt of this new line of credit, but in providing an opportunity to enhance diversity in the private sector, to create much-needed jobs, and to increase the country's revenue and foreign exchange earnings.
Moving along, the 2013 Independence celebrations was launched today under the theme One Mission, One Dominica, celebrating 35. Minister for Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs, Honorable Gloria Shillingford, was one of the main speakers at the media launch. In her address, Honorable Shillingford elaborated on the theme of this year's Independence celebrations.
This year's theme, One Mission, One Dominica, celebrating 35, is therefore particularly relevant and timely. Dominicans are being urged to unite and work as one people despite the many differences which might seek to separate us. This spirit of unity and togetherness has brought us through 35 years of independence, and this must be reinforced and perpetuated to take us to another 35 years and beyond. It is therefore incumbent on every individual, community, and social group to make this mission yours, ours. It is with this singleness of purpose on the part of citizens that Dominica will advance to the greater stages of development that we all desire. One Mission should not be restricted to the independence celebrations, for while this provides the opportunity for citizens to come together annually to celebrate the achievements that have been made as a nation, it also serves as the impetus which is needed for citizens to recommit themselves to national development in the years ahead.
Honorable Shimford also encouraged members of the diaspora and Dominicans to contribute to this year's independence celebrations.
I therefore call upon all Dominicans to give their fullest support and participation to this momentous event. I also call upon Dominican groups in the diaspora to rally their members together for the celebration of this great event, whether in their countries of residence or by traveling to Dominica to join in the celebrations here. Undoubtedly, no matter where we reside, we must continue to be patriotic and committed to working with one mission towards the development of our beautiful country.
Minister for Culture, Youth and Sports, Honorable Justina Charles, was also a key speaker at the media launch. Honorable Charles, in her remarks, spoke to the public about this year's theme for the History Week, Kudme, which is a representation of positive values.
In this regard, I am quite pleased that the theme for History Week is Kudme, which means a helping hand. Kudme is part of our culture and our heritage, a deep act of solidarity. It is an act of love. It is an act of unity. It is the opposite of selfishness, a national kudme, in which we all lend a hand, come together to clean up, beautify, and work on various projects. I trust that the focus on kudme during History Week will result in a greater awareness of the role of kudme in the development of our communities. Kudme is a tradition that must continue to cherish and uphold as it represents positive values.
The Culture Minister also thanked the government of Dominica and the private sectors for their contributions to the independence celebrations.
While government takes the lead in the staging of independence celebration, we must applaud the effort of the private sectors for providing sponsorship of the various events. We must also applaud the various individuals, cultural groups, clubs, associations, village councils, and community groups for organizing particular events. When we recognize the current economic challenges and the global financial crisis, we always find ways to pool our resources to put on a great independence program, one that is unrivaled in our region. This is the positive energy that the media needs to present.
The Chief Cultural Officer Raymond Lawrence highlighted some of the upcoming events in this year's 2013 cultural season.
The official opening ceremony of the celebrations has been scheduled for Friday, September 27th at 6 p.m. at the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard. This year we will have district cultural festivals instead of competitions, and these festivals will be held in Grand Fond for the Southeastern District on Saturday, September 28th, Salisbury for the West and Southwest on Sunday, September 29th, Castle Bruce on Saturday, October the 5th for the Eastern District, Grand Bay on Sunday, October the 6th for the South District. Saturday, October the 12th, the festival for the Northeastern District will be held in Marigot, and on Sunday, October 13th, the festival in the North will be held at the Cabrit's Cruise Ship berth. Schools' athletic events are carded throughout the celebrations, and these events are held under the auspices of the Sports Division. We are urging the schools and the public at large to attend and to support these sporting events.
This year's 2013 cultural events is expected to begin on September 21st and end on November 5th, 2013.
Mervin, let me tell you, this is my favorite time of year, Independence. I just love it. I love the culture, I love the patois, I love the food, the colors, everything about it.
But I mean, earlier on you mentioned that you love patois.
I do.
Why?
Why? Because that's my roots. Like my family, well, we're from Grand Bay, so, and Petit Savan, so you know, I was always involved in that.
Okay, so I guess some people can expect, and on Fridays, for example, that you would put on some Creole wear on that day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Last year, Journée Creole, I read the news in Creole with McPherson, so you never know. This year, we might have the same, maybe me and you.
Interesting. So what about the Creole dances themselves?
Oh, don't even talk about the Creole dances.
Have you ever done a Creole dance?
When I was younger, I was part of a group called the Tropical Girls in London, and we used to dance and entertain folks.
But overall, it's very important that we celebrate our independence, because at that time of the year, there are a lot of, as you say, a lot of callers and so on, but we have to move away from just observing the callers and waiting for just on the Friday to say, hey, let's put it on that day, and people will say, okay, it's Independence time, that's what they're wearing this. But we have to also find out why are we celebrating all this.
Right.
And I think one of the things that we have to mention is the Kudme, as Honorable Justin Charles mentioned. This was something that was, over the past years, I think maybe during the time of the tropical girls, as you say, during that time, there was quite a lot of that happening. A lot of people used to come together and go and help each other. Somebody just decided they have a backyard to go and clean. Everybody come together and cook a food, and everybody is helping. But this is slowly moving away. So
yeah.
I think
and we need to bring that back.
Yeah. So I'm encouraging everybody to take time this year to celebrate your independence and come together, get everybody together at that time, and help somebody this independence season.
On Tuesday, the Dominica Festivals Committee held its first press conference for the World Creole Music Festival since its launching in July. Marketing executive of the World Creole Music Festival, Leroy Waddix Charles, says patrons in the region are enthusiastic about the festival and are eager to offer their support. He says this year the festival aims to target 5,000 patrons per night, and Dominica should get ready to accommodate the largest influx of patrons from the French West Indies this year.
We can anticipate here in Dominica possibly our biggest arrivals from the French Antilles this year. And I want to repeat that. This year we can expect possibly our biggest arrivals from the French West Indies. This is an indication to us Dominicans to get ourselves ready. Not only ready to host them, but ready for us to make a presence.
Charles says the festival contributes greatly to the economy of Dominica and asked that local patrons continue to participate.
This festival belongs to Dominica. Like we heard at the luncheon, to every dollar that is spent, $9 is circulated in our economy. That is what the festival does for Dominica. To every dollar that is spent on the festival, 9 is circulated in our economy. That is how important the festival is. But it is not only important if we don't participate. It's a reunion year where we are celebrating our 35th anniversary of independence, and there is an appeal to each and every Dominican listening to us. Bring a friend. Bring a friend. Return home if you haven't done so. Come back and let's get au courant with what Dominica is. The greatest island on the face of this earth.
This year, patrons can expect several new twists to the event. Promotional road shows will include village hotspots, and on the nights of the festival, several activities are expected to be ongoing in and around the grounds and food court. Patrons can also expect a local lineup, which will be coordinated by DFC's supporting member, Simeon Joseph. The line will feature upcoming artists like Asha Thomas, Colton T, and Mel C. Alicia Benoit, Triple K Global, and Nai will also form part of the local acts.
Quaxico Law, the Friday, with Triple K, and Triple K will be with Old Benz and Nai, also New Look and Marshall Montano. The Saturday, Busy Signal, Bracket, the Cadas All Stars, the Zouk All Stars. The Sunday, we start at 6, Kassav, Carry Me, Tito Puente Jr., Swinging Stars, and Calypsonians.
The World Creole Music Festival is a major event on the calendar of events in observance of Dominica's 35th anniversary of independence. And that's the English segment of the news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en Creole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, ministre Services Social ensemble et puis culture, venir ensemble, on a lancé une activité pour 35 anniversaire indépendant Dominique. Ministère Développement Community, Honorable Gloria Shillingford, Ministère Culture, Honorable Justina Charles, et puis chef officier culture Raymond Lawrence, adressé public là qui concerne ces différentes activités là. Honorable Justina Charles, c'est Ministère Culture Dominique.
Ministry Culture, Youth and Sports et Local Social Services, nous, deux ministries qui travaillent ensemble pour faire activité indépendance. So aujourd'hui là nous t'ai dit general public, moun qui t'ai écouté, avec moun local, avec moun diaspora qui activité culture Ministry of Culture et Social Services qui mettait devant pour célébrer 35 années d'indépendance nous. So nous taper 35 années d'indépendance c'est on année pour nous c'est un bitin qui significant avec nous besoin faire moun changer sa indépendance pour nous ça y mine pour nous avec nan ça là film là c'est une mission une Dominique nous ca célébrer 45 years avec ça mine pour nous tous ni pour mettre l'ombilier toute différence qui nous ni différence politique différence religion toute différence en nous ni entre nous en citizens Dominique et pour nous garder compte comment nous ça travaille ensemble pour faire Dominique développer. So ça c'est mission là. So nous les encourager monde pour nous venir ensemble avec travail. Avec qu'on nous dit pour History Week film là c'est coup de main. Ça sont l'autre bitin pour nous qui bien significant because pour nous savent Dominique really développer en manière ça là où la monde ka venir ensemble avec travail avec pas garder pour on l'argent mais ça il ka fait nous socialize meilleur.
Nouvelle en Creole qui porte plus de détails contre ces activités là demain si développé. En notre nouvelle, département quarantine Dominique a créé assez police pour assister au combattre Black Sigatuka Sime. Parole celle-là sorti de monde qui a une position comme chef département quarantine Joseph Blankford.
La police a son comité Black Sigatuka. Et ça nous a dit nous pas ni pèse pouvoir pour arrêter monde pour arrêter et mener devant la loi. C'est police qui ça fait ça. Mais quand nous a parlé avec nous a continuer pour voir monde qui chayer particulièrement monde qui hoax qui gagne banane. Yo sa gaye banana à Guabe ou Wesley ces places là qui ni Black Sigatoka avec a chaye yo et puis trash matériel amita banana la pas yo et ben ça c'est un gros problème ba nous parce que yo ka spread fungus là tout partout yo ka passer et ben les yo sorti bon Marigot et ben Marigot Jean ni Black Sigatoka check côté et ben yo descend bon Wesley descend ko Kalebichi toutes ces places là ka gaye banane oui Vekas, you know, eh bien, yo sa chaye sur sa place ça, nous pour arrêter ces bagages ça pas place comme ça, because si nous pas contrôler, chaque fois tout partout pour Dominique qui tapé, eh bien, il est plus difficile pour contrôler comme ça.
En la nouvelle, gouvernement Dominique a continué chain investissement qui concerne call center en Dominique. Il y a une compagnie l'Amérique BPO bien établie qui facilite compagnie l'Amérique et puis Europe qui intéressant fait ses qualités business salam. Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett, tient discussion et puis ambassadeur Dominique Nations Unies, His Excellency Vince Henderson en EFO pour établir l'occasion en Dominique. Ambassadeur Henderson ensemble et puis officier BPO qui visité pays là tout de suite pour garder en affaires salam. Ministre Commodité et puis Invest Dominic Authority qui facilite la visite là. C'est officier là qui garde le potentiel Dominique pour établir ce call center salon en Dominique. Invest Dominica Authority qui a avisé les gens qui sont intéressants pour voir l'application by yo ou bien l'Office Small Business Unit en Financial Center en Warsaw. gouvernement Dominique a assisté compagnie Nefsalam établie en pays là. Finalement, messieurs et mesdames, ministre public Works qui a fait parole qui a consigné l'occasion Antrim Valley. Parole c'est la strategic minister public works Honorable Ribbon Blackmore.
Nous avons un report, un geotechnical report, qui a montré nous ça nous peut faire pour manger ça. Tout de suite, nous avons un autre expert qui descend moi ça pour nous plier à vie. Comment nous ça adresser ça? Eh bien, il a dit, nous avons pièce pipe à la terre pour tuer gloire. Et bien, nous avons plus bas, bord live nous avons mis tout ça avec un chic pipe et bien encore. Mais c'est des bagages ça, il est bien cher. Les experts là qui descendent encore moi ça, il y a nous plier à vie. Ça nous a fait pour arrêter bagages ça.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle Creole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next, your tip of the day.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans, and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Exercise is good for your head. While it may seem as if moving about when you feel tired is the quickest way to feeling more tired, the opposite is true. Experts say that increasing physical activity, especially walking, increases energy. Psychologists studying how exercise affects mental health are finding that how much or how hard you exercise isn't the key factor in helping depression and anxiety. In fact, they say that less is more, or at least just as good. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm.
Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Fontaine.
And I'm Mervin. Thank you for watching.